The film begins with our protagonist Karak, a hybrid creature half-human and half-animal living with his biological parents in the forest. One day he decides to run away to the city. There he is adopted by a human family and raised alongside their children. However, Karak struggles to fully adapt to humans, especially with the kids at school. This leads his adoptive family to take him to an isolated school in the mountains called Clearwater High. At Clearwater High we see that only hybrid creatures half-human and half-animal of various types are enrolled. Karak is greeted by the general guardian Lisa, who welcomes him to the school and asks about his animal origin. He tells her he's half-human half-owl but explains that he can no longer transform easily because he spent too much time in his human form. Lisa understands his problem and promises to help him. After a tour of the institution, Karak meets a girl named Leah on the stairs. He also encounters a group of bullies, half-human half-wolves, who recognize him as an owl by his scent, and are about to attack him until a teacher intervenes. Karak then bids farewell to his adoptive family, who will only visit him during holidays. At that moment, the school principal Andrew, a wealthy benefactor who funds the institution, arrives. It seems he was awaiting Karak's arrival because he also transforms into an owl just like Karak. The principal asks Karak about his biological parents, and our protagonist tells him he hasn't seen them since he ran away from the forest to live in the city. Lisa then asks him the reason he ran away, and he explains that he wanted to experience living with humans to see if there was any difference between them. He tells them he didn't find much difference, as both hybrids and humans have their good and bad sides. Lisa then escorts him to his room and tells him she'll send a girl to show him where the first transformation class will be held. Indeed, a girl in squirrel form enters through his window and transforms into her human form. She introduces herself as Holly, gives him his clothes, and takes him to the first transformation class, which is held in the middle of the forest. On the way he meets Leah, who he had seen on the stairs. He introduces himself and tells her that his adoptive family brought him here before he tells them about his biological family. The teacher starts shouting at them to hurry up and begin the class. It seems both the general guardian and the principal have also come to help Karak with his transformation. He struggles to transform, and Lisa approaches him asking him to remember the times he spent with his biological parents. Fortunately, he starts remembering them and is able to transform into an owl in front of Andrew's amazed eyes. We see that Karak transformed with difficulty, unlike the boy named Erlic, who can't control himself and transforms spontaneously. Here we see that the bullies transform into wolves, Holly transforms into a squirrel, and Ghazi into a gazelle. As for the brothers Shadow and Wing, they transform into ravens, and the rest of the students transform into different animals. Even the general guardian Lisa transforms into an eagle and welcomes them all to Clearwater High. She tells them they were brought there to learn to control their animalistic side so they can live safely among humans. Humans they consider friends, not enemies. It seems Andrew disagrees with her for reasons we'll discover in upcoming film events. Our protagonist returns to his room to rest, and Erlic, who will be sharing the room with him, enters. Holly also arrives to take them to lunch in the school cafeteria, where there are two types of food. Food for herbivorous animals like Holly and Erlic, and food for carnivorous animals like our protagonist and the group of bullies. Holly then explains to him that the prey animals sit separately from the predators, but Karak refuses to sit with the bullies and prefers to sit with his herbivore friends. Later, after the bullies finish, they surround a herbivore and are about to attack him until our protagonist saves him and tries to chase them away. Our friends don't back down and are about to attack him too, but luckily the same teacher from before intervenes again. The teacher tells Karak that fighting is forbidden in the institution and is only allowed during combat classes. Our protagonist explains that they provoked him, and the teacher tells him to report them next time if they try to harm him. That night Karak is sleeping in his room, dreaming of his parents, whom he misses and wants to see. Suddenly Erlic, who has transformed in his sleep, wakes him up. As we see, he wakes up all the students on that floor. As soon as they wake up in the morning, they go straight to the combat class, where the teacher asks our protagonist to fight a bear. Fortunately, he manages to defeat it easily in front of Andrew's eyes, who is impressed by his great strength. Andrew approaches him after class and tells him that he has a great talent for fighting and advises him to train well in transformation. It seems Andrew is trying to get closer to our protagonist, just as he has gotten closer to the group of bullies who are now helping him with a series of secret missions that we'll learn about shortly. The bullies then surround our protagonist and arrange to meet him tonight in the forest. It seems they were surprised when they saw him defeat the bear in the combat class and want to fight him to see if he can defeat them too. Our protagonist of course accepts their challenge and tells Erlic and Holly the whole plan for the fight. At that moment they warn him about the danger of the situation, because if Lisa finds out, she will expel him from school. But Karak tells them that he must fight them because firstly he knows he can easily defeat them, and secondly so they know what he's capable of and don't dare to mess with him again. Indeed, as soon as it gets dark, the boy sneaks out of his room, and it seems his friends will go with him. His friends help him sneak out of school, and they enter the forest together until they see our friends from a distance. Karak transforms like them and starts fighting them, but we see they gang up on him 4 against 1 and beat him until Erlic, who transforms into his animal form, comes to help him. Our protagonist seizes the opportunity and easily defeats them. However, when they attend their first class the next day, the teacher notices their injuries and realizes they fought last night. He sends them all to the school clinic. As we see, Andrew calls Karak while he's waiting in line and asks him to go for a walk in the forest. The boy of course accepts and gets into the car with him in front of the bullies who are not pleased. Back with Andrew, he tells Karak that he heard about the fight and that he should have defeated them without his friend's help. But our protagonist tells him that they ganged up on him 4 against 1. Andrew then asks him if his biological father taught him hunting, and Karak says no because he ran away to the city when he was young. Andrew then suggests teaching him himself so he doesn't have to rely solely on the food they give them in the cafeteria. The boy likes the idea but asks him why he wants to help. Andrew tells him it's because he thinks of his young daughter who died a long time ago and because he will need his help in the future. Andrew then returns our protagonist to school where they find the general guardian waiting. She tells him that he shouldn't show favoritism among the students, but Andrew refuses to listen to her and leaves. Lisa returns to Karak and asks him if he likes it at school. He tells her he likes it and is enjoying his time. She tells him that if he wants to stay he must follow the rules, and then explains to him that it's forbidden to fight with other students, and if he fights anyone again he will be expelled permanently. The boy understands and apologizes to her. He then meets his friends Erlic and Holly, who ask him what he did with Andrew. He tells them he just took him to teach him hunting, but at that moment he sees Leah entering the forest. He apologizes to them and follows her to see what she's doing there. He finds her spying on the school teachers who are discussing the problems that humans have been facing. It seems a small group of hybrid creatures have been attacking them in the city. They are afraid that these creatures might be some of the students at their school and are meeting there to tighten security on the students at night. The two hear all this but are caught and run away. On the other hand, the bullies are being punished by peeling potatoes in the kitchen. As for Karak, he goes to meet Andrew in the forest to of course learn hunting. They transform at that moment and go looking for prey, but we see them encounter a hunter on the way and Andrew teaches him how to avoid him. They then continue searching until they find a gazelle which Karak stalks and catches easily. Once they finish, the two begin talking about their lives. Andrew asks our protagonist about his biological family. He tells him he misses them and hopes they are still alive and wants to meet them in the future. Karak then asks him about his family and Andrew tells him he was married and had a young daughter, but unfortunately he lost them both suddenly. He explains that they went for a walk in the forest and were caught by a hunter who brutally disposed of them. We see that Andrew is still affected by their loss, and this incident is what made him hate humans. That night, as Karak is sleeping in his room, he hears the wolves howling and goes to look out the window. He sees the bullies sneaking out of school and decides to follow them to see where they're going. He sees Erlic and asks him to keep an eye on them. Indeed, our protagonist follows them from a distance until he sees them entering a factory. The bullies split into 2 groups there. The first group goes to chase the guard while the second group enters to open the garage to destroy the vehicles. But Karak suddenly appears and surprises them. They are about to gang up on him when Andrew arrives. He is surprised to see Karak and asks him what he's doing there, and Karak tells him he'll explain everything at home. Indeed, Andrew sends the bullies with his assistant in the car while he takes our protagonist to his house. He explains to him that he is the leader of the organization that carries out attacks on humans, the attacks that the teachers were talking about in the meeting. They attack humans to avenge his wife and daughter, whom he told him were killed by hunters in the forest. He explains that they are trying to protect animals and hybrid creatures from humans whom he considers enemies because they pose a threat to living creatures in general. He asks Karak to join them and help them in future attacks, but Karak hesitates because he doesn't want to harm humans. He lived with them for many years and knows that not all of them are bad like his adoptive family who raised and cared for him. The boy doesn't know what to say and asks for some time to think, and Andrew agrees but tells him to hurry up as they have a big mission coming up this weekend. Finally, he asks him to keep all of this a secret between them, as it seems he is hiding the organization's activities from Lisa and all the school teachers. The next morning, Holly and Erlic ask about the bullies who followed him last night. The boy of course doesn't want to tell them about the organization and tells them they just went hunting. The group then goes for a walk in the forest and decides to teach Erlic to use his horns in a fight. Indeed, the boy transforms and learns to use them easily. He gets excited and starts headbutting the trees until he accidentally hits a passing car. It turns out to be Karak's adoptive family's car, who as we see have come to visit him at school. Our protagonist immediately takes them to see his room, but they smell the smell of calves there and open the window to air it out. Lisa enters and tells them it's not visiting hours, but his adoptive mother explains that they had to come because they missed Karak. It seems he misses them too, which is why his sister gives him a small toy to remember her by. His mother tells him that they will go camping in the forest this weekend and asks him if he wants to go with them. Our protagonist of course accepts and says goodbye to them. Andrew then calls him on the phone. Andrew asks him if he's joining the organization and tells him to answer quickly because they need his help with the new attack they're going to carry out this weekend. Karak explains that he won't be available because he's going camping with his adoptive parents. He tells him that in any case he doesn't want to join the organization because he can't harm humans. Andrew doesn't like the answer and hangs up. It seems Karak also gets angry and starts shouting at his friends who came to ask him who he was talking to. He leaves them and goes to get some fresh air in the forest. He transforms into an owl and starts flying between the trees. He gets lost until Shadow and Wing come and tell him that he accidentally left the sanctuary. They tell him that this place is full of hunters, and indeed a drone belonging to hunters appears at that moment and releases dogs on them. Shadow and Wing manage to escape to the sky, but our protagonist is stuck with the dogs on the ground. Fortunately, he manages to hide from them on a tree, but the hunters find him again with the drone. Shadow jumps on the drone and destroys it, easily giving Karak a chance to escape. Our protagonist miraculously escapes and is returning to school, but he loses all his energy and collapses unconscious on the ground. He falls in front of a black car, Andrew's car, who takes him to his house and treats his wounds. He tells him that this is why they fight humans who, as he saw, were going to dispose of him so coldly. It seems this incident makes Karak change his mind about people. He decides to join the organization and help them with tomorrow's mission. Indeed, as soon as he wakes up in the morning, he meets with all the members of the organization. Andrew explains that they will push tree trunks from a cliff onto the machines that are building roads in the middle of the forest. Karak, of course, is determined to carry out the mission, and to encourage him, Andrew tells him that he will help him find his biological family, who he knows where they live. He then talks to the group of bullies until his phone rings. His adoptive mother calls him to meet in the forest, as we saw they were going camping again, but he explains that he's busy and has important work at school. As soon as he hangs up, he sees his friends Erlic and Holly sneaking up on him. They ask him what he's doing there with Andrew, and he tells them they're just going for a walk in the forest. The two, of course, don't believe him and don't press him further because they know he won't tell them the truth. They immediately leave for school while our protagonist goes with Andrew in the car. They go up to the top of the mountain to carry out the mission. As soon as they reach the place where the tree trunks are placed, Andrew explains to them that they need to drop them onto the vehicles below, but he first sends a group of bullies to chase away the workers there. It seems he only wants to destroy the machines to stop the construction process and doesn't want to harm the humans there. But at that moment, Karak sees his adoptive family camping in the place where the tree trunks are going to fall. That's why he asks Andrew's assistant to stop until he goes down and gets them out of there. The assistant, of course, refuses and is about to drop all the logs until Erlic arrives and stops the car at the last moment. Holly also helps by attacking the assistant and getting him out of the car. Karak seizes the opportunity and stops the wheels with a piece of wood. Unfortunately, Andrew arrives at that moment, transforms into an owl, and removes the wood to let the car drop the logs. Indeed, the logs start falling from the mountain, and as we see, Karak has no other choice but to go down and save his family. His family manages to hide in a corner, and only his younger sister remains about to be hit by the falling trees until our protagonist saves her at the last moment. Karak finally manages to save his family, but it seems he can't expose Andrew because he promised him he would find his biological family. Andrew pretends he knows nothing about the incident and calls a helicopter to pick them up. As soon as they go up into the sky, Andrew apologizes to Karak and explains that he didn't know his parents were camping there. He asks him not to expose him to Lisa and the school teachers so he can help him meet his biological family, whom he knows where they live. Our protagonist agrees and says nothing. When he returns to school with his friends, they ask him why he didn't tell her the truth. He tells them that Andrew is the only one who knows his biological parents, and if he exposes him and he goes to jail, he won't find anyone to help him. He asks them to trust him and be patient for a while until he finds his original family, and then he will expose Andrew to Lisa and all the school teachers so he doesn't risk human lives again. Indeed, the boys agree to keep silent and say nothing to the general guardian. They return to school together, ready to embark on a new adventure. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe so you don't miss any films.